Hi again, this is Mr. Ford, and today we're going to be looking at percentages. So, percentage is something that people still ask me to this day. Outside of school, how do you do percentage of things? How do you calculate percentage? And yeah, this is something that I'm still asked today, just from my friends and family, to be honest, when it is something so simple. So, I'm going to do a video, and I'm hoping that from it, you'll be able to do the questions that you've got in this booklet. So there's three main skills that you do with percentages. Now, when I teach in GCSE, I teach it differently. I teach it in a way that shows you that you can use it's all one formula. But let's just simplify it down. So really what we've got is we've got a percentage. So percentage means so you've got percentages. I've always looked at it as percentage being a one and two zeros because it's part out of 100. Because this is makes 100, one and two zeros. So a percentage is how many parts out of 100. So if we had a percentage that said 20%, that means it's 20 out of 100, like a fraction. Okay. Now, that's all it really means, but it gives us an idea of the proportion as you go through school and into later life. You kind of understand that 50% is half, 25% is a quarter, and so on and so forth. So so with that in mind, I want to show you exactly how I got the formulas. So first off, if we ever want to talk about percentage change, we're just generally looking at how much it's changed from its original amount. So really what we're doing is every single time we want what's the change goes up top, and of course what the original amount, because we're looking at the percentage change from the original amount. So we do change what the actual value is, what we want on top, divided by our original amount, because that's what we started with. And then what we do is we times it by 100. That's where this whole percentage is, because we have to times it by 100. Now, that's just percentage change, because we're looking for percentage change, hence why the change goes on top. Now, if we have a different formula, which is the first one we're going to do down here, we've got percentage of. Now, percentage of, well, we usually get a specific amount, and we want to find it as a percentage of a total. So, in this case, we want percentage of, look, if we look at this question below, the percentage of the cars and motorcycles. So, therefore, we want that is the specific amount, the cars and motorcycles goes on top of the fraction. We divide by the total because we want a percentage of the total. And of course, we times it by 100, hence why we've got this symbol that looks like 100. There is one more here. Now, this is literally this formula here rearranged. There's two ways to do it, but all of your calculators have a percentage button, and that's where it gets really, really cool. So if you're doing this question here, and I wanted to say, let's say that I've got 200 people. If I want to find out what 20% of 200 people is, all I do is I type into my calculator. Now, on everyone's calculator, it might be in a different spot, but you should see a percentage sign. So if we want to find 20% of 200, what we would do is we type in 20. On your calculator, there's a percentage button, and you do of 200. Okay. When you type that in, you should get, I'm just going to type into my calculator there, 40. Okay. You can actually use the calculator to do your work because at A level, just like as you go into further life, you've got your calculators available to you. And that will actually turn it into a percentage for you, and it's really nice to be able to use. So let's look at some questions, but that's a really nice breakdown. That's why you have this here on how to do these. So first one here. Now I've got three different I do sections. Now there is you do. You can pause them as you go, or you can do them all at the end. It is up to you. So first off, we've got some data here, which is collected as part of a study to investigate the extent to which a local place has been affected by urbanization. So you can tell it's a geography style question. We have four different data points. Which collection point have the highest percentage of cars and motorcycles? So what we want to do is we want to find the percentage of the cars and motorcycles out of the total. So if we look at data point 1, we want to do the specific amount, which is cars and motorcycles, which is 125, out of the total of them. And if you have a look across here, You got the total amount, which is 148 times 100. Which gives us 84.46%. For number 2, you do exactly the same, except obviously our numbers are going to be different. So what our percentage, or our specific amount, we're looking at cars and motorcycles, divided by the total amount, which is 154 in this case, times 100. Which gives us 85.71%. And you sit there and you go through each of them like so. Okay, and last but not least, we have 162 divided by 175, because that's our cars and motorcycles out of our total, times 100. Now, the reason that percentages are very useful is that it's a percentage of the total. Because if I looked here, the most amount would actually be 3. But as you can probably tell, our percentages have a different weight because we have different totals for each one of the day. So which collection point had the highest percentage of cars and motorcycles? That would be collection point 4 with 92.57%. You can pause the video now, and there's a question below that you can try. Hope you found that fairly easy. So what we're going to be operating with now is we're going to do this next section here, which is on percentage increase. So let's have a read. So based on the above information, let's have a look at the above information. We have to consider the following information. In 1993, the amount of fossil fuel the world used was 8124 MTOE. As it says there, that's million tons of oil equivalent. By 2011, it had increased by 42%. In 1993, the amount of renewable energy the world used was 991 MTOE, but by 2011 it had increased by 56%. Based on the above information, what is the increase in consumption of renewable energy between? So we want to know the increase only, the increase in consumption for between 1993 and 2011 for renewable energy. So that means I'm looking at this second block of information here. So it tells us that our original amount is 991 MTOE, and it increased by 56%. So that means that I have 56% on top of this. So if I find 56% of this, that would be what the increase is. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We want to find what 56% of 991 is. We could just type that into a calculator with these buttons. Now, of is the same as times. Okay? So we have 56. Which gives us 554.96, which is about 555 MTOE. So we had an increase of 555 MTOE. That is the increase in consumption of renewable energy. It is that easy. Try the other one with the fossil fuels above and see how you go. Okay. So I'm hoping that you've done the ones before, the two previous questions, which actually ask you doing percentage of and finding some value given a percentage change. So what we've got here is the following table shows the number of tourist arrivals to different regions in the world in 2010 and 2014 in millions of tourists. What we're going to do, and what we've been asked to do as our first one, is complete the table by finding the percentage change from 2010 to 2014. Okay? So we're just going to do, I'm going to show you how we get these values here for Middle East and Africa. So percentage change, we want to look at how much it has changed. So what we want to do is we want to how much has it gone. So it started here and it's gone here. How much has this increased? How much has it changed? So there's two ways you can do it. But the main point is we need to find out this has been gone up. How much has it gone up by? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my new amount minus my old amount because it will tell me how much it has changed by. So 56 minus 28 is 28. So it has changed by 28 million people. There's 28 more million people traveling. Okay. Now, this then we use our formula. What we want to find percentage change. So we want 28 divided by, what was our original amount? We had 28 here. Okay, times 100, which is, it's going to be 1 times 100, type into a calculator, you get 100%. And it's an increase because it's gone up. So that's it. Reading the question, this is asking for percentage change. So we need to find the change. And then we're just doing the change because that's our specific amount divided by what we started with. Let's look at the next one for Middle East. So Middle East, how much has it changed? So it has started here and gone to there. So I don't have to do any maths here because I know I can just do this in my head, but you can figure it out. How much has it changed? It's gone from 55 to 50. It has gone down 5. So it's decreased. So we're going to put a minus because it's decreased by 5. So then we're going to find percentage change. So it's gone negative 5 because it's decreased. Now this doesn't matter too much. You can put it in at the end, but it's nice to work with our steps. And so it's decreased by 5. And what's our original amount? 55 times 100, which is going to be negative 9. It's 0.09%, which is the same as negative 9.1%. Okay, and that's exactly how we're doing percentage change. It's just like percentage of, but in this case, we want to put the change as our specific amount. So we put out, so it's not the value on top, it's the change because that's what we're doing. I hope that's worked well for you. There's a question after this filling in the rest of this table. And then there's another couple of questions there for you to try with varying concepts that you just need to work through. There's some stuff with science, business. Okay, and enjoy. Thank you.